Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. We are wandering around Whampoa, or the Whampoan Gardens. Whampoa, I guess, is the boat, and then the Whampoan Gardens is the neighborhood neighboring it. Um, so we've learned about a few people and places around here. There are some visitors to the area. There are some locals. We've got some people to talk to, and then we get a look into Elder Magpie's stuff, which is now a new mystery. Oh, this guy was mentioned before, I think. The man in front of the stall is rooting through a box of music chips with the swift fingers of someone who knows what they're looking for. Behind him, a music player pumps out a constant stream of distorted atonal music. The stall's proprietor is nowhere to be seen. Can you believe this? They've got 4 bootlegs of Echelon 60. Why does Echelon looks like it's spelled wrong to me? The unreleased Enoch Ian Key's double chip show from Brazzaville, but absolutely 0 chips from Shotgun Bloom. This stall stuff is purely second rate. Hey man, don't get down on Echelon 60. I saw them when they played that unlicensed show at the old Choco Tart factory out in Suen Wan. The show was amazing, even if the police had to break it up midway through the second set. The music aficionado waves his hand dismissively. The show might have been great, but come on, Echelon 60's old news. They're already being mainstreamed. I saw a trid ad for the new Mitsubishi Ostro scooter, and they were using Main Volt Underbus as the backing music. Made me sad, I tell you. Oh, hipsters. I've never, ever said anything like that before, definitely. Nope, not me. The Decker inclines his head politely towards you. Moj Nebi, at your service. Decker, technologist, music fan. You're not from around here, are you? You don't hold yourself like a native. I'm from the UCIS. Mo runs a hand through his hair, shaking the collected rain off of it. I thought so. What brings you out here? Trying to find who's been killing the elders. The Decker pauses a moment, face falling. Oh, that's a nasty business. I heard Tong died tonight. I don't know who or what they pissed off, but it seems like a really bad scene. Try to keep my nose out of it. Still, I like this place. Is there anything I can do to help? What can you tell me about the Whampoans? We're a collection of freaks, geeks, nerds, and tech junkies. This place may look like a third world bazaar, but believe me, we have stuff here that's cutting edge in almost every field. Mo swells with pride and plants both hands firmly on his hips. Maybe it's not as advanced as the stuff the Megas have in their development labs, but it's as advanced as anything you can find in a store. That's a terrible way of putting that if you're trying to sell it, but then wouldn't you go to a store? People come from all over the world to buy and sell here and work out deals for big shipments. We've got contracts with every pirate and smuggling group in the South China Sea, and every major syndicate and gang in the Free Enterprise Zone knows not to mess with us. Not only are there a lot of us, nobody wants to lose what we're selling. The Red Dragon made a play 4 years ago, but we chased him out. Mo gestures with both hands as if shooing away a bothersome insect. Scooted off back to Ho Man Tin, and they've never been back. Good for you, that's how you survive. It's all about playing the angles. Yeah, it pissed him off, but then we sold goods to the Yellow Lotus at a discount. In exchange, the Yellow Lotus kept him off our back. You don't have to beat up the big guy to win. You just have to make him step back so the other big guy sees off balance. Stand-up fights are for the Megas. We're about survival, just like everybody else in the shadows. Know anything about the murders? I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible. I'm not connected enough to hear anything important, and all the talk about monsters is just plain dark. I'm not afraid of monsters, but I don't want to get their attention. All I know is that a couple of months ago we had elders Nakamura, Yatunde, Gon, and Magpie, and now we don't. I've heard about Magpie. Sounds like she was kind of vicious. To be blunt, she's a hateful, shrewdish old bagger of a person. It was always her way or the highway. She'd butt heads with the other elders over damn near anything. The last fight she had was with Tang over something or other. I guess she ended up throwing some of his micro-drones into a deep fryer and threatening to kick his ass around the block. What was her line of business? Matrix gear. Her shop's called the Jackpoint. Not very imaginative, I know. She always had the hottest programs, best chips, and made some killer decks for anybody willing to pay her rates. It cost plenty of new yen, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know more about her, you should talk to Zippy. He's one of the only people around here who got along with Magpie. You can probably find him by the MTR station. He loves that steamed bun cart over there. What's your area of expertise? I'm a decker. I used to be company man for years, pushing code on the servers, smearing the little cyber pukes that would get into our secure systems. I made a pretty good living. Had my own place on the 48th floor in a corporate skyscraper. It's the kind of thing the Sims teach you everybody reaches for, the dream life. So what went wrong? I found out the company wasn't what I thought it was. Sure, they paid me well and kept me in creature comforts, but I accidentally looked over some misfiled reports while cleaning out a company data store. Turns out one of the company's security riggers had gotten drunk and blabbed about some project or other being over budget and behind schedule. That's not good. It'd be a fireable offense, right? I'm guessing they killed him. Mo pursed his lips, his gaze going silent for a moment. Well, I guess upper management was worried that the info would hurt their stock rating by a fraction of a point or two, so they fired the guy. With a 308 round right to the skull. You should have known that's how corporations handle problems. Well, I sure as hell know now. You get a wake-up call like that, it'll really open your eyes. It may have only been fractions of a point, but that was still tens of millions of new yen. I guess that went beyond a firing offense, directly into murder territory. What's worse, since I now knew about the project and the murder, I could be next in the firing line. I knew I wasn't worth the expense to hunt down, as long as I kept my head down, so I came out here, looking for like-minded deckers. I guess I ended up staying because I could get a semblance of community out here, and I couldn't get that many other places. See you later, Mo. An imposing troll stands in front of a stall overflowing with weapons of all sorts. Pistols, rifles, and even brass knuckles overflow onto the rug around him. Oh there. You look like a woman who understands the value of self-defense. Breaker Hui, at your service. I can promise you I can help you defend yourself. What do you say? Want to take a look? I'm more interested in information. Yeah? Tell me what you want. Maybe I can help you out. What are your impressions of the Wampoan elders? Can't say I associate much with them. They organize big trade deals with the Loho Joa pirates, the triads, and legitimate businesses. They tell us if somebody's been blacklisted and dispense justice when somebody breaks the rules. Beyond that, they leave us alone, and I leave them alone. I'm just not important enough to register on their radar. You know anything about Elder Magpie? Never met her, thank God. She ran with the Deckers mostly, since she dealt in chips and software. I heard she was hard to work with. I think the phrase I overheard was that she shrieked like a harpy with a fresh corpse. I don't know, you should talk to Zippy though. He's a sharp one with a deck, so he'd know her better than most. Aside from Tong, who slings the BTLs around here? The Red Spear Gang. Oh, interesting. Okay. They run up in here sometimes, but don't cause trouble. Check out the parking garage south of here, though. They usually hole up in there. Step light, though. If they don't know you and you cop an attitude, they'll put you in the ground. Funny thing, I heard there was a shootout with some Hong Kong police in the garage a month ago. I was away in Beijing at the time, so I didn't say it directly, but everybody was talking about it when I got back. Why is that funny? Because we don't let the HKPF in here most times. We shoot at them if they try. Every time they come in here, it's bad for us, because they're always looking for a scapegoat. Why would the elders let them in? Nobody knows. Well, playing your enemies against each other is, or, you know, at least not friends, people with tenuous alliance, could be a motivator. Know anything about the murders? Just that the elders have been getting hacked apart. I've tried to stay away from it all. No sense painting the crosshairs on my own forehead, right? The troll shrugs indifferently. I'm nobody important and I aim to keep it that way. That's the wrong button again. I think this keyboard has a Windows key lock on it, but I always forget about it. Is this, he said, oh, this is the place. This is the parking garage. Okay. This man has a tired, worried, world-weary demeanor about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, the lines about his eyes perhaps, makes you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He lifts his cup of cheap soy calf as you approach. Let me guess, you're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. That's quite the portrait you got there, man. How'd you know? You've got the right kind of eyes, like you're looking for something and don't seem to trust anyone. Outsiders don't generally wander around Wampoa Garden without an escort. Locals don't make them feel too welcome unless they've been invited. There's only one reason to be inviting Shadowrunners out here. Call me Demergo. I'm not one of the Wampoans, but I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. Demergo drains the last of his soy calf in a large gulp. So what have you found so far? You're awfully curious for a random guy. Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their thaumaturgical research division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. Demergo tosses the soy calf cup towards the nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rim and it rolls inside. And rolls inside. Proofreading. When I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know? Seems like you're more cut out for this job than I am. Elder asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. Demergo shudders, folding his arms across his chest. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price. It eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it go into your neck? Pleading in your voice of a dead woman for her killer to spare you? These days I'd rather interrogate the living, thanks. All things considered, that could be useful. Demergo nods, though his expression is still one of disgust and sickness. Sure, if you're appraising antiques or trying to find a lost cat where a lost cat went, but turning that on murder scenes is an invitation to horrors beyond imagining. I can read objects. It's called psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up. I don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it. Who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. Well, if I go grab Tong's leg, can I have you hold it? Because it sure feels like they did something with it. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told Ong I didn't want any part of this. You want advice? I'll give you that, but I'm not getting drawn further in further than that. So aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? What can you tell me about the Wampoans? I don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not as much of a tech nut as they are. I'm just the crazy mage that lives down the road. Demergo pauses and looks off into the distance as he collects his thoughts. Hip's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council. He doesn't seem to set much policy. Ung is a shaman that worships machine spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you want to call the source is fine by me, but don't ask me to believe in the great spirit of electronics. As for everybody else, they tend to be an okay bunch. A bit strange, but that's fringe culture for you. They scrounge tech, rebuild it, sell it off. Some of them even have their own auto fab shops. Their stuff's pretty high quality too. People from all over Asia come to shop here if they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community, all things considered. What do you know about the murders? They started a couple of weeks ago. Elder Gon was the first to go. That's when Ung asked if I could look into them. He was ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed away with a razor-sharp knife. The rest have been the same. Whatever did it sure didn't care about it being a clean death. Demergo lowers his voice, leaning in towards you so only you can hear. The funny thing is, the Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that. Maybe a month ago, tops? I know that doesn't seem like much, but the Wampoans don't usually let the police in here. That by itself is odd enough. But it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear, too. Big guns and heavy armor with NBC seals, the works. They went into the parking garage near here, and it was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wampoans chased them away. Why would they let cops in and chase them away? That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, and the elders refused to answer when I asked. Demergo shrugs. Go take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out, though. A gang's taken up residence in there, dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Spear. Not too violent if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. Tong wasn't afraid when he died. He was caught by surprise. Demergo arches an eyebrow. That's not what I would have expected. With the amount of mess at each scene, the victim should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Very sure. Tong died tonight, so the astral signature hasn't had time to fade. There was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. Then it sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have had that kind of resonance, in my experience. It's possible that the gore show is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. Demergo closes his eyes and starts to nod. Yeah, if I wanted to kill someone and get away with it, I'd try and point the finger at some kind of monster. Demergo opens his eyes and smiles a thin, humorless grin. Basic Investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount on other possibilities. You think the mess was an incident? Well, we already know this. Like, everything we've seen thus far indicates that it's either a human or maybe with the assistance of a machine or something like that, that it's not a monster. Because before we even knew that he was surprised, it's pretty evident just from, the spectacle of the whole thing and the fact that this seems to be some sort of terror campaign that is working effectively, that, the people were killed and then dismembered and, all these other things were done probably well after they were already deceased, because there's just, it's they could try and hide a murder, but it wouldn't work because these are, important people. So why not just go bigger so that if they're going to find the bodies anyway, then, throw a bunch of additional data in there that is not helpful towards, it's all leading in other directions, and obviously has the secondary effect of making everybody suspicious and fearful. You think the mess wasn't incidental? It's a possibility. Ask yourself this. If the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would a killer perform that kind of ritual? Well, there is also, we've seen in the other games as well, that sometimes there are, ritualistic reasons to mess with bodies and stuff, but, nothing of what we saw indicates that. Also, we knew from the start that this was a human as well, because they looted his safe, right? So, there was a reason. Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it, in my experience. It tends to feel more like they're taking communion. It's a religious or sexual feeling most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. It's a good distinction to make, actually, there. That this is premeditated, but not a serial killer. So, it's a more typical, you know, series of killings, but from somebody who doesn't exhibit necessarily, like, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like aberrant psychology or something like that. Or abnormal. I don't know. It's probably a better clinical term and a better legal term for that. But yeah, which again, like, leads me to think about Elder Magpie. But I think a lot of the implications thus far are sort of pointing us towards a feud between the Red Spear and the Elders, and now the Red Spear in some way or another are paying back the Red Elders for trying to kill them with using the HKPF. So that would be my suspicion. This group wasn't here next to this guy before, I don't think, when we came around the first time. This dumpy-looking man is busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats of various sizes. Some are sold individually, some are secured on sticks, and some are packaged up in sets of 4 or 6. A sign on the front of the cart reads, Kieta's 1 yen yatai. A cacophony of small trid screens are attached to the cart, each playing a different trid show. Interest you in some dango? Takoyaki? Maybe a nice nikuman? That's a pork bun, with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curry fish balls are your speed. Keita will give you your heart's desire, providing that desire is on my menu. I don't even like several of those things. Like, I mostly because I'm not really big on like fish and octopus and stuff. But that is making me hungry. Fish balls aren't really my thing. Well, dango is just rice flour, but it's, you know, it's a rice dough. Fish balls aren't really my thing though. Psh, what's wrong with you? You don't like anything good. Stinky tofu I could see, but curry fish balls are the grease that makes this city's engine turn. You want to feel like a local, don't you? You want to feel like a local, don't you? Get some. Kieta leans back, studying you intently. The trid projections from his cart cause his face to be lit in constantly shifting array of rainbow hues. So, what brings you to Wampoa Garden, my friend? Somehow I doubt it's just the street food. Why do you not have a portrait? If you're somebody I can actually talk to. I'm looking into the killing of the Wampoan elders. Kieta shivers, wrapping his arms around his body. I've been hearing a lot about that. Haven't looked too closely, though. It's just none of my business, you know? What can you tell me about the people here? We're tech heads, deckers, riggers, trid pirates, and everything in between. If I had to define this place, I'd say it's Asia's Mecca for people like us. As for the elders, I can give you the basics. I'm a small fry, though. I'm a small fry, so we're not exactly on social terms. Some kind of crazy tech witch. She summons up spirits and casts spells and works as the spiritual center of the tribe. She's a lot craftier than she seems, too. She has this mother-to-everyone act going on, but I've watched her manipulate people into doing all kinds of stuff they wouldn't normally do, and they thought it was their idea the whole time. Magically, you mean? No, I don't think so. She's just really good with people. Ip's a killer, addicted to cybernetic implants. He always has to have the newest and freshest gear. The funny thing is, I've never seen him fight. I kind of get the impression he's a coward. He'd rather let one of his buddies handle a problem than do it himself. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. Frankly, I find him kind of boring. All he talks about is neural networks, dark knowledge, and evolution of machine learning. Like I said, boring. reminds me of a certain billionaire, scum of the earth type of person. Anyway, moving on. What's with all the trid screens? Kieta beams and gestures excitedly at them. You like them? I love trid operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian, doesn't matter. This way I can watch all of my favorite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. Pirated trid is my other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds, and resell them on chip out here. Kieta's face falls a bit, and his enthusiasm wanes. I wish I could pay the bills, but my food cart's a lot better at that. I don't know why, but most of the other Wampoans seem to like Sim over Trid. They don't know what they're missing, though. One episode of 1,000 Cranes of Autumn, and they'd be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where O-Rin has confessed her love to Takayama, but he's got to get his mech suit out to the front lines on Mars, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell you. Sounds like an interesting show, all right. Eyes twinkling, Kieta leans forward in breathless excitement. Okay. Oh, you have no idea. 312 episodes chronicling a noble mech pilot and the tumultuous love affair he has with a space station governor's daughter. The pathos, the majesty, the Battle of Lagrange 1 spans 5 episodes just by itself. For some reason, I guess it just didn't resonate with the wider public. I don't know why. Who doesn't want to see a trid show about giant flying robots, love, betrayal, and spies? I mean, this does sound pretty good. I've got to stop myself before I get carried away. Was there something else you needed? Got any thoughts on the murders? Yeah, ignore them. Kieta shrugs indifferently. I saw the crowd down at Tong's Sensory Carnival earlier tonight, but I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a Trid fan, he liked Sims. Not a lot of crossover between us. See you later. Wasn't there one more thing to talk about? No? Okay. Is that everyone out here? Are people in the park? Oh, do you have anything different or new to say? No? Okay. Alright, well, let's go inside the jackpot then and look around. This bin is full of assorted chips, peripherals, and add-on modules for cyberdecks. They don't seem to be arranged in any coherent fashion, and are spread across the felt surface. Search through the bin. You sift through the display case, searching for anything that might prove interesting. Isabel peers past you into the bin as you search. That's interesting. There's a lot of storage memory, I/O handlers, and active memory in this bin. I'm not seeing MCPC hardware, response increase chips, or anything related to the hot shit decking Magpie was supposed to be into. In fact, you wouldn't even build a full deck with this. Without the MPCP, it'd just be a glorified comlink. What do you think it means? Well, if I had to guess, I'd say somebody's cleaned her out. MPCP, response increase, biofeedback filters, and all that, they're easy to move, expensive, and highly illegal. All the rest of this crap is good, but it's nothing you couldn't pick up at any electronics shop. You'd have to know what you're looking for, although only a good decker would know what they're seeing. Could Magpie have taken them with her? Isabel gestures towards one of the other displays. A small pair of cyberdecks sits inside the locked case. I guess so, but if she did that, why would she leave the completed cyberdecks? No, I think this was theft. That's an interesting... Oh, somebody broke open a server rack. The front of the server's case hangs open, the inner machinery quiet and without power. A clipboard is stuck to the side by a piece of duct tape, its papers filled with a long list of programs and their prices. A quick glance over the program sheet reveals names like Bugs, 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 and Black Hammer. Undoubtedly, this was Magpie's attack program storage machine. Somebody's removed the drives, and it sure wasn't Magpie. Here, look. Isabel gestures to the innards of the open server. Near the back, a solitary red light blinks. The main drives were disconnected properly, but it looks like she modded the server to have a backup drive with its own battery-based power supply. If it was Magpie, she'd have taken that too. Crap. This is a Fushi XB1000, and it looks like the battery power ran out a while ago. The XB1000s are constant write drives. They're dirt cheap and have a ton of capacity, but if they run out of power, they lose their data. We're not going to be able to get anything off the drive. There's a reason we do not write important data to RAM, which is basically what that is. At least not long term. It's why we have RAM and also storage. Magpie's desk is the kind of messy most people only associate with rats' nests, hoarders, and deckers. The surface of the desk is littered with cigarette butts, half-finished cans of soy calf, and scraps of electronics. A towering pile of empty instant noodle bowls sits next to it. Their sides are blazoned with Honest Wang's instant old-time lamyan. I think that's lamyan. And depict a line of top hat-wearing caterpillars dancing with canes. Hey, awesome. I didn't think anybody but me liked Honest Wang's noodles. Flavor like you'd never tasted in a package of instant noodles, I promise. Gobbet taps the side of one container. See, this one's cheese curry broccoli. I don't know why it never caught on us, honestly. I think they are putting that combo in to sound gross, but it actually sounds really pretty good to me. I don't know about cheese and curry, but I could see it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, that'd be... I mean, you pick the right cheese and the right kind of curry. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Probably be pretty good. I'm getting like weird inspirations because now I have like stuff. I make curry myself all the time. I've got instant noodles. I've got broccoli. I've got cheese. Should I do a hand cam video or something? Cooking some shit? Anyway, sidebar. I've often thought that I'd like to make cooking videos for the channel. I talked about it ages and ages ago in some update video I did. But it's a lot of effort, and frankly, I know my viewership is small to the point that the number of people who will ever see this video is probably single digits. But yeah, I don't know. It's stuff I like doing, so maybe I'll do it anyway if I get really inspired. Duncan shoots you a sidelong glance, mumbling sotto voce. Gee, who could pass up the delicious taste of cheese curry and freeze-dried vegetables? Oh, freeze-dried broccoli? I don't even know if that's a thing. I mean, I suppose you can freeze-dried broccoli. I've just never seen it. Gobbet seems oblivious to Duncan's sarcasm. I know, right? People out there have no idea what kind of culinary delights they're missing. Okay, this is gonna stick in my head, so I have to actually make a note for myself. Maybe I'll see if I can come up with something that would make an interesting video. Or maybe an uninteresting video where I just get grossed out thinking I can make something good that isn't actually good. Search the desk. You gingerly root around in the desk, doing your best to avoid more disgusting piles and spills. It isn't easy. The desk drawers are stuffed to overflowing with receipts, cigarette packs, optical chips, and cables. Most of the contents are boring, useless, and disgusting. While searching one of the bottom drawers, however, a low-quality tin lockbox catches your eye. Someone has pried the latch off, leaving a ragged hole where the lock should be. The interior of the box has several sleeves for storing keycards, all of which are empty. A small note is taped to the interior of the box. Spare stockroom keys. The door is in the rear of Miss Yang's restaurant. Do not lose these. Use only if I am not available to open the stockroom. Stockroom, huh? So who broke the lockbox to get the keys out? I don't really like either of these answers. Probably whoever cleaned out Magpie's equipment. I'm thinking you're right. Whoever tore the latch off the box was in a hurry. Any of the elders could have cracked the mag lock without much trouble, and most regular Wampoans could too. This seems like somebody who was tossing the place and wanted to get in and out as fast as possible. If somebody was in after Magpie's gear, her stockroom would be a gold mine. Investigate the jack point is complete? Okay, weird. You search Magpie's bathroom. There's not much in here. A toothbrush, toilet paper, some hairpins, and a collection of cheap makeup. The combination bath shower unit, however, has minor flakes of dry reddish substance near the drain. Blood. Dried blood. Prying open the drain cover, it looks like quite a bit of it was shed as well. Oops. What did I just do? I hope we're still recording. Surely everything's fine. Oh, I'm gonna be really miffed if this broke. Okay. Shit, maybe Magpie didn't take a trip after all. Well, with that amount of blood, I'm guessing someone killed her quietly and then drained her body in the bath. It'd make it cleaner to relocate. This doesn't seem to match the killer's other scenes, though. I'm thinking there's a lot more going on with these murders than we were initially told. First, they don't even mention Magpie to us, and now it looks like she's been killed. Something's not right here, Dragon's Breath. Let's not mention this to the elders. If they're hiding anything, they may start cleaning up their tracks better. Yeah, I could see if maybe, especially if she was only here for 2 years, if the elders decided to get rid, one of the elders or all of them collectively decided to get rid of her somehow, by killing her, then if she had been attached in some way to the red spears or whatever they're called, maybe that could be a vengeful thing. This could be an unrelated killing, but yeah. Okay. Well, okay. And I mean, the fact that they ripped the, I don't know, Isabel said that they would need to be a knowledgeable Decker to know what items to pick up off of her bench, right? And likewise, if they were actually going after her stockroom. But that doesn't actually mean... I mean, it could mean that that was the real thing. There could be multiple crimes going on in the same place at different times, or they could be related, committed by multiple people with different objectives but working together, it could be that like the real thing was the murder, but that whoever committed the murder then attempted to cover their tracks by stealing stuff and making it look like a theft, maybe not thinking through and realizing that the fact that they stole the most valuable stuff is telling about their level of knowledge in the first place that a normal robber just shouldn't have. I don't know. There's a lot there. Okay, interesting. Well, we've got the stockroom in the back of the restaurant, and we've got the parking garage. So we'll look into that next time.